want to transcript it. So I think it is.
There we go. We got it recording now. There you go.
Thanks, George.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this committee. Um, we uh, we have a long agenda today. Gotta get through it. Um, and so please give your opinions to the staff and committee. We may have some stuff to vote on. So I'm gonna hand it over to James.
Well, first let's do our welcome and I'll put a new person a little bit on the spot here. Christy, we do often a little goofy icebreaker and hopefully not take very long to say that. But what was your first card? I'll kick it off because I've actually had a chance to look at this a little bit. Growing up, yeah, Brandy kindly put these slides together and added the images. I actually had a Volkswagen Bug growing up, and it was a lot of fun. My teenage friends and I think at one point we got 8 of us in there while I was driving us around. So yeah, bad news. Maybe it was 7. I don't know. A lot of lanky limbs hanging around in there. All right. So whoever wants to go next. And oh, I should say, yeah, James Barta, he, him, I'm the engagement strategies coordinator for the Oregon Eligibility Partnership, part of ODHS. We manage the ONE system and one of the facilitators for this group. I should say that part too.
I'm happy to go. My name is Christy Reese. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director at FACT Oregon, and we serve the state supporting families and people with disabilities. It's my first meeting, thank you. And my very first car as a teenager was a little 2-door Toyota Corolla, white. And when it was a hand-me-down from my older sister.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I had the privilege of driving my grandmother's 2000 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer edition with the security thing that you had like a little chip to plug it in on top of your key that I would lose all the time, so I'd get stranded. But yeah, it was a good old boat. Also fit lots of people, but I had seatbelts for everyone, James.
Okay, I'll go next. This is George Adams, Southern Oregon, Jackson County, down in Medford, co-chair with Maria. And mine was a 1968 Ford Fairlane, fastback, 289 engine with a 2-barrel carburetor. Nice Ford. And light blue too. Let's go with Susan.
Suzanne Garcia, Community Health Centers of Lane County, and my uncle worked on classic cars. So my first car was a 1957 Ford Ranch wagon. And I had to sell it because it wasn't sustainable to keep it up here in Oregon. But that was my first car.
I'll go next. Andrew Demaray, he, him pronouns. I am the senior business analyst for the ONE online portal. And my first car was a silver 1998 Ford Taurus. And it was previously like a business fleet car for, I think, Wells Fargo. So it had a fancy like center console um, cell phone plug-in thing before I ever even had a cell phone. But there's always just this old dead cell phone in the center console of my car that I always found funny. So
I'll go next. I am Veronica Kritsky, Senior Business Analyst for the Oregon One mobile app. And my first car was a silver Toyota Solara. I don't remember the year. It's been too long.
I'll go next. Maria Park, Senior Program Manager from Asian Health and Service Center. Can't get me into cars. Um, I I don't know what my favorite car is, but I remember I would look at a lot of Auto Trader, and um, my friend had like this baby blue 67 Ford Mustang, and I think I probably will have to say maybe like a Toyota Supra, or I think my first car was like a mini Chevy truck, but or my parents' van. Okay, I'll pass it on to the next person. And I'm co-chair with George. Thank you.
I'll go next. Mine was a baby blue 1990 Honda Civic with the automatic seatbelts. Anyone remembers those? And I thought I was invincible in that car. And I drove it until the wheels literally fell off.
Hmm. Gabriel?
Sorry, I was trying to get the button to work. I'm Gabrielle. I work for the Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition, and I actually had a Honda Civic. And uh, that's it. I don't really know. I'm having one of those days. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know what OTAC means, I think there is somebody on here. Christy Reese might know what OTAC means.
Hey, Paul?
Paul Alderson, Public Services Representative for the applicant portal technical team. Let's see, my first vehicle was a 1965 Chevy truck, 3/4 ton, stick shift. Had to start out in second gear, not first. First was a little too low. One of my favorite activities as a teenager was I had a friend that had another truck, and we would hook pull chains onto it, and I would drag him around the parking lot with my 6-cylinder because I had the lowest gear ratio, and it would drive him crazy.
Hmm. Okay, Brandy Strom?
Hi, everybody. Brandy Strom with Maslow Project here in Josephine County. And my first vehicle was like a navy blue 2000 Chevy S10, so a smaller truck. Yep. And I really liked it. So I was happy about that. That's it.
And oh, what's his name? Sorry, his mic is off today.
Oh yeah, Dion. Yeah, he can't. His mic's off. Yeah, but he's put it in the chat.
Okay, his first car was a 69 Volkswagen Scirocco, it looks like. That's pretty cool. Welcome, everybody. Okay. James?
All right. Well, this is my monthly tradition of handing it over to Andrew to talk about the work that we've been doing and that it's in the pipeline. I guess I can note that there is the possibility some things are getting bumped and moved around because of all the changes demanded by the House Resolution 1 that's being implemented. But Andrew, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So first we have request 79, update the wording of the alternate format options. That is scheduled for next month's build, adding some help text for that. And then we have preferred CCO or CCO selection. This started as a defect and came through OIC to make sure we get the wording aligned. Previously, we were going back and forth between CCO and preferred CCO, and we've opted to align all of the language to preferred CCO. That is also coming in next month's bill. Change request. It was request 20 from our group, but it's 800363 self-scheduling. So there's some issues with this one also due to HR1 and its timeline. For now has been taken off of our timeline for March, but kind of up in the air. It looks like it may be getting added back to our timeline, but this one's a little bit in limbo at the moment. And again, kind of relating to having to prioritize a lot of changes for HR1. And hopefully by the time we meet next, we'll have a solid answer one way or the other about the direction this is going. Request 77. This is a two-part request, clarifying how to report a change about household members leaving. So part one scheduled for November 12th. This I believe was moved up to October. I didn't catch this in our planning meetings, but I believe this went in just last week. And I saw it and did a little live demo for some of our community partners as well. And it looks pretty great. Reorganizing the page breaks and updating some of the button text on that screen. And then part two of that is changing some of the text options and adding help text for the questions at the very bottom of the household information screen, asking if someone is living part-time, is out of the home temporarily. This scheduled for January 14th. We're currently working with our policy teams on clarifying some of the wording there. So this one's still on track, but coming in January. Request 80, updating document upload guidance language in ONE Online portal, is scheduled for February 11th. And request 81, create a user-friendly password reset link sent in email, also scheduled for February 11th. And we'll, last week when we talked, or last month when we talked about this, there's a lot of like hypothetical how we want it to look. So we made some more visual mock-ups that we'll take a look at today just to make sure we're all on the same page on what this request is going to look like.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Susan had a nice comment in the chat. Apparently already using the reported change on the clarification on household member leaving. So
Great.
Cool. All right. Well, that request 81 is our next thing. And actually, I think I'm going to switch over my screen sharing to the briefing sheet so we can see these mock-ups. Now, you all should have these, but I know how it is that it's always good to take a gander at them as well as I'm trying to get it to the right place before I switch my screen sharing. So, there we go. Yeah, it's a lot of big images of the screens, and so the text ends up being very small. So I think we already did all this.
Yep. Yeah. We talked about this. So what we're doing with this request is changing what the email you receive looks like when you click that circled forgot password link. So we click that. This is what this top image is what it currently looks like. It's a long text, clickable text string. Also has the old ODHS logo in there. So if you scroll down a little bit more, this is what the final visual looks like for the updated proposal. So we'll have new text stating that you've requested to change your Oregon ONE eligibility password. To complete this process, click on the button below to verify your email address and reset your password. You can also copy and paste the provided link into your browser. So then we'd have this big, cute, blue clickable button. And then also still have the text string for anyone who's not able to, has any sort of protections against browser redirects or anything like that. They could copy and paste that text string and put it in there. And then some guidance below that. If they did not request to have their password changed, call our tech team.
Okay.
And then the updated ODHS logo. And then the second part of this is, as you can see, this is the current password reset screen. There's no guidance on the screen as to what the password should contain. So the only way a user would see what is required is by entering something that doesn't meet those requirements and getting an error. So what we're requesting to be updated below is adding those password requirements there, and then also a note below stating that they can contact the technical support team if they're having any issues. And just as a note, the font will all be aligned to like what meets our style guide and accessibility guidelines and everything. This is just the closest I could get it with the quick mock-ups that I was making.
So they might call it Paul. Any questions? I know, like, I remember when we talked about this, I'm going to scroll back, sorry. There was, I screwed up the formatting here, but this question, should we include both the link and the button? And the group here said yes, include both, because some browsers are funky about that. And so that's what we put together. But does it look good? Any questions? Any part I should scroll to?
Andrew, the reset password and the first top, and then you got some space and then the reset password. I think it should be moved up and not too much space.
To like the location of the button.
No, up here. See where it says reset your password?
You mean
the title of the email?
Yeah, right there. Okay, all this here should be moved up just a little bit more.
So I think everything that we're seeing above, anything above hello Samantha Brookshire is not, that's something that's going to be dependent on whatever email client someone's using. Excuse me. So like that's it looks, I think this is Google email account that we're looking at. But yeah, depending on whatever your email provider client is, then that's what's determining that. So what we're really looking at is everything from hello Samantha Brookshire down to the bottom of the screen.
I just think there's too much space between the first where it says Oregon Department of Human Service to down where it says reset your password. I just think there's too much space in between up here.
Oh, you're seeing, I think you're looking at the end of the previous request up here.
Okay, see where it says this email may contain information that is privileged, and then it goes to the and into your system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you go down, you got some space.
Yeah, so we're looking at two different images here. So James, if you can click on the second image. So yeah, everything that we're just looking at for this request, what's contained in this box here. And then even within that box, the header, like reset your password and the email address it's been sent to, that is all, we can't change that. So really we're just looking within this outline that's on screen currently, everything from hello Samantha Brookshire down to this email may contain information that's privileged.
No. That's not, you're not getting it what I'm saying. All this in here where it says hello Samantha,
Yes.
email address and set your password is fine. What I'm saying is moving this whole paragraph down. There is all this space up here on top. Way on top. Take the browser up. No, take your up browser.
This is the email right here.
Yeah,
there's
everything
nothing
above
above it.
this is a separate image. It's what the screen was before. So like there, yeah,
Yeah.
that
There's this email, and then this is the existing email right now. They're two different emails.
I understand it. So,
Okay.
so you're not taking, so you're getting rid of the old email and just replacing this with this?
correct.
Okay, well then I'd not have to worry about them. I thought you were combining them together.
Ah, no, yeah, yeah, I see what you were saying there. But yeah, we're just replacing that previous image with this
Yep.
new image.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate you asking, George, so we can clear that up. All right. Well, if there's no other questions or concerns, oh, Susan had a question. You're talking about the, the phone number down here.
Yeah, and the second one, it says 970 in the one, if you go scroll up.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
that might have been a typo on my part, but not a. I'll check what's actually in the request. Um, and even if I put it wrong there, we can correct it. And honestly, Deloitte will probably correct me if I did it wrong.
But appreciate Susan, any discrepancies like that, you calling out.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
What's the I'll find it later.
So group guys, this looks good to you, right? I've gotten some heads nodding. Yep, everybody look, yeah. It looks good to them.
All right. So if 81 is good, we will slip down to 82 and dive in here. Andrew, is this yours also?
I can definitely talk about it. I don't remember if this was one Veronica was going to take, so I'm happy
I think I put this one in so I can talk about it.
Okay, cool.
So for this one, this request came in from the APTT, Applicant Portal Technical Team. And they get a lot of calls where clients are confused or get thrown off when they go to start an application. So this screenshot here that you're seeing is the very first thing that somebody sees when they click Apply Now to start a new application. And that highlighted text right there that says you can find out more about these programs by clicking the links. Clients or users are thinking that if they want to apply for SNAP, they click on the link to SNAP, or if they want ERDC, they click on ERDC to start their application. But those links actually take them to a different page that just gives them more information about that specific program. What they actually need to be doing to start or continue with their application is scroll to the very bottom of this super long screen and then click accept or next to start the application. So the ask for this request is to clarify this wording that's highlighted in yellow, or somehow make it more clear for users on how to proceed with continuing with their application so they don't get thrown off by clicking the links with additional program details. I think the proposal that we had originally received was to just edit the wording in that highlighted sentence, but we are also open for any other suggestions that the group may have.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead, Maria.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, I think it'll be helpful if we can see maybe the bottom of that page too.
I am logging into the testing environment right now, so I can give you guys a better visual. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
just
Yeah.
1 second, and then I'll steal the screen share if I need, James.
Okay. Thanks. But this, yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think we talked about this maybe briefly before, but yeah, and I think the discussion was maybe we need to change the whole paragraph down here, this third paragraph, because it is awfully tempting. You come in and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to apply for SNAP. I'll just click here, as opposed to just getting, and all you're doing is getting information. I'm just repeating what Veronica said.
Or could you move the button up, like just to apply, like next that? I mean, I think we need to see it, but I would say there's either two things. Either you change the verbiage or the click to apply going above the hyperlinked for additional information.
This is Christy. That's what I was going to say is when you need to apply, if that was up higher, then if you need more information, you can reference it below. But if I'm ready to go, I think it should just be within this fold. Hit the button and be able to continue.
And James, I'm ready to screen share if you can stop. It
Yeah.
won't let me share unless you stop. So I think the placement of the button will make let me choose the right screen here. Screen 2. It's always different on Zoom. Okay, and share. Are you guys able to see that? Okay.
We're able to see the unsubmitted applications. Yeah.
Okay, so when I click apply now, I want to start a new application. I am navigated to this let's get started screen. This is where the hiccup is happening. And what users actually need to do is scroll down and click accept to begin their application.
Can you make it a little bigger?
So do they have to read that before they go next, or because that's my question, is there's a lot of information, but does that information need to be reviewed, or can the next button be moved up higher?
I think the answer is the information needs to be reviewed. It's been many months since we've had this conversation originally. So I think we'll have to double check with Samantha, but I do think that somebody did ask that question a while back. And the answer was that they do need to review all of the details here before they click accept.
Vanessa? Are you,
See?
yeah, are you suggesting, if you go down, are you suggesting putting a button next to snap here and taking out the accept button?
No. My idea was, even if this could be a drop down, like, are you applying for benefits? You can apply for that you can apply for through this website. And then it would say cancel exit, like with the same little 3 tabs, have that there, and then say for additional information on programs, click the following links. Like that line would go after that button, but it seems like this has to be reviewed. So if that has to be reviewed, I think calling out to apply for any of the following programs, please scroll to the bottom of the page and hit the blue button. You know, it has to be called out, because I can definitely see getting stuck in a loop circle because there's nothing on here telling you to go to the bottom and hit next.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, that is a lot of information to go through before you get to submit.
This is Christy. I don't know what the limitations are, but this is too much text in one place without headers or something that provide direction for most folks. So if it's stuff you need to read, it isn't broken out like what's required. It looks like there's different programs, but just in what was shared, many of the families we support, like this is just so much. Folks are only speed reading it or getting caught in a loop because of where those top links are. Your assumption is that that's taking you to the right place to apply. So I don't know stylistically if there's even a change, but this is very text heavy without, I appreciate that there's some white space, but it's incredibly intense in its text.
Maria says, how about if you would like to learn more about general information about the different programs, then click on the links below. That's what she said.
Yeah, I was just going back to that highlighted section that Veronica showed us earlier, but for us as assisters, when we go into here, we're very familiar with this page. We usually will just for us, we can just kind of skip it, but we'll let the members know, like, oh, these are the different programs. If you're interested, you can learn more, and then and kind of interpret for them, and then we can click on accept and then start the application. We kind of help them through that process. So, we're more familiar with it. But if it's for somebody who's never seen this or it's their first time going in here, this can definitely be a lot of information and may not know what to do. So, yeah.
Could this be put into drop downs like program information, and then you click a drop down, then it goes down, and then to apply, or you know what I mean? Just like, because it is just one big clump with so many hyperlinks.
This is Susan. So there seems to be two different things on this page. One is about programs. The other one is that you have to read it and accept it, that they're going to use your social security number and things. The next page asked what programs you want to apply for, and these links can be next to the programs. If you click on medical, you can click on the links to find more information. So it doesn't have to be on all one page.
Well, I'm glad that we are talking this out because I've heard from other consumers having the same problem.
So if you click accept, the next page will be all the programs you want to apply for, and you could have this links under each program.
So if we move things around, it's going to be a much bigger work, right? Having to move things here, links there. So you're saying if we just change the verbiage and call out to continue application, scroll to the bottom and select accept would be the quickest, easiest fix versus moving this here, moving that there, especially because it will shorten that information on those specific programs, but we still have all of the other verbiage about important information for all to apply. So changing that last statement to, if you would like to continue and move forward with the application, please scroll down to the bottom of the page and select the blue accept button.
I'm not necessarily saying that moving the links would be a big lift. I just think that if we were to go with that path to remove these links, this is really only a small section that would be removed, and it would still leave all of this that they have to scroll through and all these other links before they get to the accept button. So I think it could still be helpful to make this verbiage here more clear that they need to be scrolling all the way down and clicking the blue accept button to proceed with actually starting the application.
And as you scroll down, there was still more program specific information, and that program specific information has to be listed on this first page. It can't be listed as someone stated on the following page, where if you select SNAP, that information there, because that's program specific. Medical assistance is program specific. It isn't general blanket until important information for all who apply.
I think it's an interesting idea. I think we need to do a little more research about, um, what is required to be on this page, what could potentially be moved.
Yeah, I can guess that the SNAP one is going to be required because the whole filing date, they want people to know about that immediately.
Yeah, because the function of that is to be able to take a different path through the application and only submit limited information just for SNAP benefits. But again, I think we can do some more research to see what options we might have.
Yeah.
Can you have more than one page? Can you have an informational page and the required page? Because I'm seeing information up above that is like the community partners and just kind of FYI information. So it feels like the page is trying to do a lot. Could you even just have an informational and then exactly what you require so someone could submit an application?
That is potentially an option too. I think when we get into creating, it becomes a bigger lift when we're creating like a brand new page. So as much as I think the easiest path to get this through as work items would be looking at what screens we already have, and if we could reorganize some of the information on those screens to fit better and to make a better flow. Also, not ruling that idea out. Just wanted to.
I think, though, Andrew, like you said, calling out what specifically has to be read before applying versus what is just informational. Because if we already have a page that's when we're clicking to select SNAP, it has that drop down, but that's different from what has to be read or disclaimer before you're starting that application.
Yeah.
So the problem is that people are clicking on that, and then thinking that's how you apply. We could move that whole paragraph to the bottom and so that they could see the accept, or having something at the top say, please, to start an application, click on accept at the bottom, like big.
What happens if you don't click on accept? Maybe need to clarify the message. I bet they need to do so. That's Maria saying that.
Yeah, just going off of what Susan was saying. I'm kind of clarifying that message.
How about you guys, we do this. Scroll down the page.
Back to the top.
All the way to the top. How about, okay, would this work? What if we put something like, are you applying for benefits? Ta-da-da-da-da, whatever up there. And then say they go and they want to go into SNAP and they read the SNAP program thing, and then there's a apply button already in with the SNAP that automatically brings up the application. Would that work?
That's a great idea, George. I think we run into issues because when you click on one of these links, I think it's Veronica. I don't know if you're still driving this screen. Can you click on the Snap one, the Snap link? Takes us to an external, like it's still an Oregon page, but this is we only update like the one online pages. This is more of a comms team thing here. And really what they would do, even with a button here, is just direct you back to one. And you'd have to log in and kind of go through that screen again. So I want to say I think you have a really great idea. I just don't know if with our current framework of how the websites are set up that it would be a reality to make that happen. Like you wouldn't be able to direct them right back into the separate website, which is one, into the application flow.
And if someone wanted to do multiple programs too,
Mhm.
you know,
Veronica says, could also add some page breaks similar to what we did on the household member screen to break the sections in addition to our, I was looking into what has to say on screen and what can be moved. And then Vanessa said, please scroll down to the bottom of the page and then click the blue accept button to begin your application. That's a good idea.
I think that there's two issues. There's one, this page is busy, so defining what can stay, what can be moved to another pertinent page. But a quick fix for now is just putting in verbiage to say scroll down to the bottom and hit select to begin your application, because that's not being called out. And there will be that, yeah, what's happening is that eternal loop of I'm hitting something, wait, I'm not applying, how do I apply? Then I get back here like I did this already. So I think it's two separate things. It's one, cleaning up the page, and but for right now, we could just put in nice, clean, simple verbiage calling out, scroll down to the bottom and hit accept.
Did that make that easy for you too, Christy and Paul and Maria and Gabriel, Randy? Maria said it would be okay for her.
Yes.
If you're asking if a quick fix for that one issue, my question is just then how do you address the rest of it?
So
My
I think
first
what
meeting,
I'm
don't know, but this would be one of the things I would have shared with you, James, that is simply not family friendly.
yeah, and so I think Christy, that's great feedback to have, and I think we need to look at what we can do here. I think in terms of moving this forward today, I think kind of having this additional text in our back pocket as like, all right, if we can't make any changes to this screen right now, we can at least add something that makes it a little bit more clear. But I think what we can do, Veronica and I can work on like we can find out, what exactly is required to be here, what could be moved around, and come back with some different proposals on like for our next meeting, like what could we do to rearrange the information on this current screen to make it more readable? What could we potentially remove from this screen or add to other screens? And then I think some of the other suggestions were like page breaks to separate the info a little bit more clearly, or like moving maybe this program information down towards the bottom of the screen so it was a little bit more clear that this was informational, not in how you start the application. So just different things like that we could look at. Um, yeah. And
Student,
sorry, George, just one more thing, actually. I'm looking at like our paper application, and I think a lot of this is built to kind of mirror the first couple informational pages of that paper application. Um, so yeah, I don't know how much of this is like required to be this way, or if this was just the way it was built because we didn't know any other path. So again, something we have to take back and
okay. Susan was saying the button could say accept and start application. And then Maria said, I was thinking, agreeing with James and Andrew, that there needs to be more background and confirmation first before we can continue and provide more feedback.
so I was thinking, it sounds like we need to come back and say what needs to be there, what will be moved. Uh,
this is what the new layout's going to look like versus even if we do a quickly throw in this blurb, we're not throwing it on the back burner. We are going to work on this, but at least because we're not getting any application. This is where you're losing initial application because no one is scrolling down. There's nothing indicating, hey, scroll down and move forward. So I don't know how quickly would a quick little thing take to be approved and move in versus how many months is it going to take us to, okay, this is what we can have here, this is what we can't have there, and then figuring out, okay, we're going to move this to that page. This, like, how long is that going to take? Get what I'm saying?
I mean, do we have a sense of, I mean, I think since it's just moving text around, I mean, hopefully we're not creating a new page. I don't know how big of a load that is. It should be in a work item or two.
I'm guessing this is gonna take maybe another month and a half to do this. I'm guessing.
Veronica, Andrew, do you have a sense how big this might be?
Well, my thought is that if we like submit a work item today to just fix this paragraph, but then me and Andrew do our follow-up work and find out that we can actually remove a good chunk of this page anyway, then just changing that sentence may no longer make sense. Like we may end up with a pretty short page here where the verbiage that we come up with today just may not make sense with the whole new layout.
Veronica, could you make this whole thing? Because sometimes when people are reading something, they can combine all these words into one that would automatically spread to A, B, C, D, and E. That would still mean the same thing. Because I know and heard from other consumers that by reading all this, they kind of get sort of drained after reading all this. And it becomes boring to them. So
You mean like put it into like bulletin points or just make it more succinct?
well, it's like reading a book. Has anybody read a book before? How you read a book and you're now getting the idea when you read some of it, you kind of get that idea that everything's coming together. It
You mean,
might
can any of this be summarized or less wordy?
kind of like less wording, but kind of make it where it's not so depressing, so to speak. I'm pretty sure you guys go over this many, many times and you feel like you're almost drained after you get down to the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I think we can look at simplifying it and put it into plain language. Hopefully we are able to get to a point where it's a lot less text on the screen. So making it shorter and making it more plain language so you don't fall asleep before you start the actual super long application.
Yeah, because if you get into the application, pretty sure that after all that whole long application bit, which probably comes in pages and pages and pages, you kind of get like, okay, now are they trying to want my whole story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, I think we really do need to find out, most importantly, what we need to keep on this page, what's required. And I think that, I think I'm assuming some of the bottom stuff like social security numbers and all that, the information about that needs to stay. And then some of the program stuff, maybe, program policy areas may feel strongly about that, or it may be requirements. Again, I think we just need to get a solid decision on there, solid answer on what needs to stay here, and then we can come back with some proposals, which will help us make a decision. Because right now, I worry if we continue this now, come up with a bunch of awesome ideas and spend our time on that, and then we find out like, oh, well, actually, this all is, you know, required by some sort of statute that it needs to be on this page. Then, we spend a lot of time trying to change something they can't change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. James, did you see what they wrote down here?
That who wrote?
Just ask Chat GPT.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, that could have added my laugh emoji. That's publicly accessible AI to summarize things. But I think we've got, as staff, we've got our homework to come back on this one because we can't just adjust the paragraph if we're going to adjust the rest of it. So we will we'll come back with more information. Yeah, I was going to type into the chat. Yeah, the lawyers and the policy people get cranky when we're messing with their language and stuff. So we got to check with them and see what we can get away with.
Okay, well, in the meantime, do you guys want to take your break now or proceed to the next request?
Well, I think we are actually technically overdue for a break. So why don't we reconvene at 13 minutes after the hour. So 12:13 because I have 12:02.
Okay, see y'all back at 12:13.
Sharing our next item, request 88. And again, I'm fuzzy if this is a Veronica or Andrew item. Examples of medical expenses.
I think I logged this one, or at least I updated the briefing sheet for it. So yeah, the goal here is by clarifying different facets of medical expenses, what is allowable, common types of proof, and who should submit proof for them. Individuals will improve processing medical deduction. Well, it will improve processing medical deductions for individuals. And just as a note to that, cases shouldn't be being pended for medical expenses unless it's to the benefit, unless the benefit recipient requests that. So, because adding medical expenses would only increase benefits. Usually, it's not something that's required to be pended for. So, possible suggestions are listing out the allowable medical expenses. Is there any screenshots I included in here?
I don't think so.
I think there are. If you go further down, there's actually a good amount of screenshots.
Oh,
If you go
you're
down.
right. There's like 5 pages of them.
Oh, okay.
Or 6 pages, yeah. All
All
right.
right.
So
So yeah, maybe let's take
play-
it's kind of jumping around a little bit, but maybe we take a look at some of the screens we're talking about adding this to, and then we can go back up and say and look at what we're exactly going to say about medical expenses. So there's a couple different document upload screens here that we could potentially add some additional information on. And again, I think we always need to balance this with like, what are people going to read? How much is too much information? So this miscellaneous document upload screen, you come across this in report a change, renewal, new intake modes, and an option for someone to just upload anything to their case, not specific to any sort of RFI or anything like that, or pending information, request for information. Already, we call out identification, proof of income, citizenship, proof that benefits have closed in another state. And I think one that we recently added was this last bullet here. If a student of higher education, please submit any financial aid award letter. So this screen may not be the best place to get incredibly detailed with different kinds of medical information or medical expense information, but maybe just adding an additional bullet point there.
The screen's a little fuzzy.
Like
Yeah.
the screenshot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it may just not be the highest quality image capture.
Yeah. May have been a small screen that you captured and it was just fuzzy.
Andrew, when a consumer is doing this on the PDF side of things, will it, if a person doesn't have PDF in their phones or in their computers, do they have to download the app before they can download this? Or could they just download the website?
You mean like when I'm confused on when you're saying download. Do you mean when they're uploading their documents or?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So PDF isn't the only acceptable file type. You could do just like an image, like a JPEG, or we also accept TIFF, which is a different image file, or PNG. But to answer more specifically your question, if they don't have access to that, I mean, if they don't have one of those acceptable file types, then they would need to turn a hard copy of it into a local office or email a hard copy of it to a local office or the processing center. Another option, like you mentioned, is if they were to download the app, they can take a picture of their physical document and it'll be in a file type that's able to be uploaded.
So with this, your request, our suggestion as to where we can list types of acceptable medical exemption. So there's a few pages where it can go on, and that's where you're trying to get our input is where or adding it on every one of these pages. Because there's this post, then there's the one where expenses, there's a few places. So are you asking how to put it on each one of these, or on which one of these would it best be suited to list the types of acceptable, I swear I can speak English, medical expenses?
Yeah, so well, I think when I pulled all of these, on these screens we do list examples of documents, and I think we could potentially add something about medical expenses to each one of these screens if we feel like that's appropriate. I think the goal of reviewing the screens is kind of one, determining where we want to add it to, and two, kind of after we decide where it would be appropriate, finalizing some of the language that we would put there. Um,
Okay.
so
Should I jump to another screen or what do you?
Can you scroll back up to the top of the screen real quick, guys, so you can see what we're next steps. Okay. Well, sorry, you went
sorry.
a little too far.
You said the top of the screen, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, again, at this point, this is the last the application has already been submitted. This is kind of just informational. The individual doesn't have any opportunity to upload something on this screen. Just saying, like, in the next steps, we need proof of certain things. So I think in that we need proof of the following, or we need the following information section. We could add some information about medical expenses. And then you can scroll down, James.
To the next one?
Yeah, sorry, to the next one. On this page for the expense questions, there is a specific question. If you keep scrolling, maybe, James, sorry. Yeah, medical expenses. And shoot, I did not grab the screenshot with the help text. I was hoping
Actually, I think I cut it in half because it was so long. So here's the second half of that. Oh, but you didn't get
Yeah,
the.
I was
Oh,
hoping to that I got the screenshot with the help text in it. It's all good. I can pull it up real quick.
is it
See,
in the
but this
text?
one calls out. So the medical expenses, like if you scroll up where you were at, it says if you are over 60, but who should submit is either elderly or disabled, federal disability or blindness payment. Like there's more than just like if you're over 60. Any elderly, blind, disabled, refugee individual. So then you're missing veteran who is totally disabled or surviving spouse or child of a veteran who's receiving VA benefits. On this text.
Okay.
But there again, also in the past meeting, it also read that anybody over the age of 65 don't have to turn in their expenses or whatever it was.
So that's kind of why I clarified in like the above. I don't think nobody has to report their expenses, and nobody will be pended for unclear expenses unless they are requesting that their case doesn't be processed without their expenses. Um, so I don't know if that really answers your question, George, or your concern, but no one's technically required to report their medical expenses.
But what I'm saying is, it contradicts each other, Andrew. If you've got one thing that says you're over 65, but you don't have to claim all the expenses and such, and here again, it says this elderly means that was 60 years for SNAP and 65 years for medical. That contradicts each other. One says no, you don't have to after 65. And here you say medical after 65.
This is the government-based
Yeah.
platform, right?
Yes, SNAP is, yeah.
Oh, no, no, no. I meant the video. I was
This
asking
is
because assigning and just, I don't know what's going on with Zoom.
up. He's trying to come back in, and I wasn't paying attention. So there he is. I hope.
Well, I hope I wasn't confusing everybody about the 65 age, but like I said, and back some meetings before, it was where you didn't have to turn in your stuff after 65. And now here you have to turn in your medical and stuff.
So it isn't you have to. I think that's what I was trying to clarify. It isn't that you have to turn it in, but if you turn in these expenses, that will go towards redetermining your eligibility or your income that makes you then eligible. So
Mhm.
say I'm over income for this benefit by $1,000. They're allowing me to submit my medical expenses that could be $2,000. So therefore, I am now eligible because I submitted my medical expenses because I was eligible to do so. So now I can receive SNAP or I can receive, whereas I wouldn't have if they wouldn't have allowed me to redetermine my eligibility based off of my allowable expenses, correct?
Yeah, it's I heard like half of that after rejoining, but it sounded right to me. And that's what I was trying to get at before, where like this isn't telling you that you to be eligible, you must report your expenses. This is if you have medical expenses that you would like to be considered with your income that you've reported, um, then this is a way to report that.
Maria came up with the point on, she thinks it would be helpful to clarify or include out-of-pocket medical expenses and dental and vision expenses, which some people do because when they go on HUD, they have to deduct it from their rent. So it might be easy for them to do the same for this.
So I
Andrew,
think
was
there
really
was text
sure.
where it lists what those allowables are, but we're trying to work on where to put them, right? Where to clarify it so that they do list it. Keep going. Right there.
Yeah.
Allowable. Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that if those were also allowable.
Government programs, I tell you.
I can see who didn't do their homework. Come on, guys. I'm just kidding.
No, I can see who did do their homework. I'm very impressed.
Come on, anybody's idea?
Oh, this is so we have all this text. We got to find a home for it. You have several options. It doesn't have to be in one option. I mean, I would trust a lot of you as sisters. Well, everyone who has experience here, but where this should go.
I think there's two things again. One is how do we put what is allowable and then who is eligible for it and in those locations. So like the first one with miscellaneous, putting a thing like if you think you are eligible for medical expenses, you can list here. And then there was that one medical expense where it only lists 65 something. We need to add the verbiage around a disabled vet or surviving spouse or child. So I think it's a few things on if we're going to add it on each one of those pages, calling out who's eligible to submit medical expense and which medical expenses allowables to submit.
And Andrew put in the existing help text in chat.
Are you kidding me? Credit card debt expenses? You can deduct them?
No, that's unallowable. That's an
Yeah.
unallowable.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I think if we go page by page, we could determine whether do we list who's eligible or what's eligible. So I think on that first page, instead of who's eligible, it would be like a quick little blurb, like if you are submitting medical expenses, and then quickly we can chatty up like what's a quick blurb that we can allowables.
Okay, so hopefully you remember all that stuff because now we're going to look at the screens. And we only have a few minutes before we're going to have to switch over too. So miscellaneous document. We've talked about this one a bit.
So how that one's how we put if you are a student, so if you believe you are eligible for a medical expense, please submit proof of medical exemption such as, and then just give a quick little blurb.
Like that.
Okay. Ready to go on?
Susan, any intake? Maria, Christy, Brandy, Gabriel?
The question I just have, I think Veronica mentioned plain language, but are you reviewing all of these for plain language? All these pages, or when these questions are coming up, are you looking at plain language and reading level?
We usually do, yeah. We do our best, and we look at it as like an entire like we want to come up with what we can for each question to be grade leveled and at the right plain language, but we really look at it as like a full page. Does a full page meet overall plain language? Certain things is more difficult to do that than others and still make it, fit. But to answer your question, yes.
Do you have a grade level that you are hoping to get to?
6th grade reading level is usually what we go for.
Okay.
I'll say in my experience that usually when you change the wording to be grade level, it makes it longer too, though.
Mhm. Um, so yeah, I was gonna type out something here real quick just for us to kind of come to an agreement on.
Is this for the miscellaneous documents page or something else?
Yeah, where we are right now.
Okay, we have an option here. Since it's 12:34, we could either take request 89 and 95 to the next meeting, because we've got others that we have to do.
Yeah, I think we're definitely doing that. This request looks like a little bit of a bear.
So are we all in agreement to move request 89 and 95 to the next meeting because of time constraint? Christy says yes. Maria says
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I can do a better job to kind of come up with a proposal. This wasn't the best way to present this. I think I can come up with like a proposal for each screen of what might fit there, and it'd be easier for us to vote on and work from there.
It's tricky because it's so many screens, but it's already a lot of text.
Mhm.
They don't fit on the page very easily.
Vanessa, what were you saying?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to roll to the next one. I just gave Andrew two possible options that he can converge with. Because I think it's just what is the shortest, easiest, simplest way to say this to possibly attach to all those places? Or we're gonna have to reword a few.
Okay, so we'll do request 89, 95, and we're gonna go over again request 88, right?
Yep.
Okay, and we're already done with 81 and 82 already, right?
82 has action items for us to bring back to the next meeting.
Okay, and Dion, do you have this written down?
Yeah, he's getting the notes. His microphone isn't working.
Okay. So with time being constrained, James, I suggest we go down to the flyer update.
Yeah, I do that. Let me stop sharing and switch over. We bring up the flyer actually. April isn't here, but she sent some images, and so we played around with different images. I just really just sort of want to give you an update of where we're at. We actually started using the flyer a little bit, and then Samantha, who's not here, since we were handing out paper copies, she came up with a version that instead of having these links here had QR codes, and I realized I didn't send that out, and I got to get the copy from her. Um, but there's the nifty new image. I think there's some wording. I don't even think I changed the wording from last time. But again, just to remind you all, is that this is a flyer that people can use to describe the work of the committee and perhaps help with recruitment. And yeah, that's the idea. But there's not a lot of change from the last time.
Well, I like it. What do you guys think?
Is it we make one system easier to understand or easier to navigate?
Excellent question. You like navigate more?
So I mean, for me, understand means to just take it in, right? And navigate's like actually use it and go through it. Mainly maybe. It's 3:39 my end and I'm like on my fourth cup of coffee. So I'm just like on a whole nother level, guys.
I'm just thinking plain language would be easier to use.
This might be even better.
Does this flyer meet all of the new ADA requirements that will be effective next year? And it came from,
Asusena? Yes, that is an excellent question. Haven't run it by the ADA people yet, actually. We need to do that. And I think we might end up with two versions. One, if you print it out, have the QR codes added, and if it's being sent out virtually, just leave like these.
My other suggestion is for people who receive medical food cash. When I talk to folks, if I say, do you receive medical food? It's do you receive ERDC, SNAP, OHP, the benefit that they're actually.
That is a really good point because I know the term cash is confusing to people.
Yes, versus TANF.
And
You know TANF, you know ERDC, because those are what you've applied for or accessing.
you know, yeah, for some reason the comms team loves to use medical food cash. Da da da.
I gotta say, I like the font size.
Oh, good.
The thing is that we try to do a larger font size, and I think to the pictures, the size is good. And then the pictures are not too overwhelming, not a high color.
Maria says, to be honest, I think just a top graph, she said. Maria? What did you mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't particularly. I think the previous flyer that we had with just this top graphic here just seemed enough, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was hankering for a second image or something. I don't know. Yeah, let me hopefully check this out. I mean, it adds more white space. See, April's not here too.
Yeah, I think
I
simple
like
is
the
good,
second
kids.
image. It kind of breaks it up. It's so wordy.
Yeah, I think that was part of the idea of it.
And then aligning with
I like
what
the image
Chris,
as well.
yeah, and aligning with what Christy said, how it says, as OOIC makes one more accessible, it makes one easier to use, like keeping that same verbiage going.
And then we have users here. I might want to change this word.
I thought that was supposed to be clients.
Sure.
I mean, because I mean, I thought that they like to use.
What I've run into
Oregonians can receive benefits with your area.
But what I've run into is the different programs that we have use different words, and it's a royal pain in the neck. I've been often using benefit recipients, which is of course a ton of syllables and like also a lot, but so I'm looking at Andrew's comment.
I don't know either, Andrew.
Yeah.
See, and that's hard because on their letters they say TANF. So when I speak to clients, I don't say, "Do you receive cash assistance?" I am like, "Are you getting TANF? Are you getting ERDC? Are you getting SNAP?" Because
Okay,
on their what are their benefits letters saying? And that's what they're going to go off of their benefits letter, right?
I will throw in a wrinkle here. that let's keep in mind the audience for this is, I mean, I guess it could include program recipients, but it's also in theory going to include other agency people, legislators, that type as well. And maybe still, these people, none of those people know what cash is either. So I'm inclined, and if we turn this into TANF, then we should probably turn all the other ones into the names of the programs. So, okay, I'm talking myself into it.
So would you guys prefer even including the phone number down there for questions? Some people don't have email addresses.
Well, I think this would be for them to get a hold of James, right? To join this
Yeah.
group. That's what this is for.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
So,
Okay. Well, how
so
about this? Send in your suggestions. We'll have another mock-up for next time around. In the meantime, we're starting to use it a little bit. Last time I sent the comms, I came back with some obnoxious different thing and so hopefully we'll be able to sell this one to comms too. And we'll check what we need to do to make it more ADA compliant too. Yeah.
Andrew, was that a crying thing or a happy thing?
It was a laughing thing.
Oh,
Running it by comms is always an experience. Um, all right. But I want to move on actually, because we have some other important things to discuss. And that is, I think the next thing I wanted to talk about is scheduling. Oh, well, okay. I'm going to jump out of order actually, because I really want to talk about scheduling. Um, Two things. One is we have to figure out uh, if we want to keep this same uh, schedule for next year, as a lot of groups have already figured out their schedules for next year. One. And two, next month, our meeting is on the Monday before Veterans Day, which is, of course, a holiday here at the state. And so there will be a few people gone. And I'll just come out and say, I am probably one of them. I think I'm going to be on an Amtrak that day or something like that. So a long time ago, people mentioned, hey, this group has never taken a meeting off. So I'm thinking maybe perhaps we take one of our meetings off. We'll still meet in December. I feel very guilty about this suggestion, but I wanted to get people's thoughts. I mean,
Azario, you got a thought on this too? Chrissy Brandy says it works for them. Maria says no problem.
okay.
Gabriel says yes.
We'll just meet for 4 hours in December or something, right?
Oh. Are you okay with this? Susan? Brandy?
Don't ask me. I have an unhealthy work-life balance. Today is technically an off day for me. And I've been working. This is hour 5.
Okay, well, who are we missing here? Christy, Brandy, Maria, Gabriel, Susan. What about the other Brandy? Brandy Author?
It's totally up to you guys. I am flexible either way, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, and see Maria. Okay, let's skip the 11 to 1 meeting in November and have it in December.
Yeah, our next meeting then will be December 8th. Okay.
Okay, so with that being said, I suggest, James, that you please send out the links to, or at least have someone send out the links for the whole year of 2026.
Well, that's actually the other, that was one of the two things was that, is this a good meeting time? Should we revisit it? Should we do a poll? Should we something? Or is this 11 to 1 on the second Monday of the month work for everyone? I mean, everyone who's here, it obviously works for to some extent, but each year we take a look and, last year we moved the time to this time. We do a poll. Okay. So, and given that we're now missing the next month, we'll probably have to do this completely online to get this finalized. And one of the little quirks that I've found is what I like, if I'm going to send a poll out, what I like to do, and tell me if I'm being ridiculous, is basically ask people what times do not work for you. Okay. Because if you ask people, well, what times work, you only get one or two answers. That's not going to work. We went, and so I'll whip up a poll. Yes, I try to be tricky, and we'll see what times don't work, Richie, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to be asking a negative here, and I'll get that out this afternoon, actually. I'm curious, since I have everyone here, is there another set of times? Guys, I know, we have a member that's in the Eastern time zone, so we're not going to have any meetings that end after what, 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I guess I should say. Right, Vanessa? 2 o'clock Pacific time?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm assuming we don't want to start at 8 a.m.
Well, no, because things that I have going on in the morning, I can't say on recording, so.
Okay. So we're going to be looking at weekdays from meetings that could start as early as 2 or 9 o'clock and end at the latest at 2 o'clock. Okay.
No, even 9 o'clock is a little too soon.
Oh, 10 o'clock?
Well, actually, 11, the way it's been, is perfectly fine for me, because that one, I get everything done in the morning.
Okay. Well, all right. So that really gives us, if we're sticking with the 2-hour slots, that really gives us 11 to 1 and 12 to 2 each day. So there'll be like 10 options, and I'm guessing Friday's probably not going to work. Christy, you're about to say something?
I was just gonna say that oh, my camera's freezing. For my schedule, I have a lot of meetings scheduled and slots that are recurring, so it's just going to depend. Like this time frame is open, so I'm able to book it. So it'll just depend on when I'll know based on what you propose if I'll be able to or not.
Okay.
But do you have someone that can be the side in case you can't attend the meeting?
Our staff, I have a very small staff that is pretty tapped, so it's
Okay.
not likely.
Okay.
All right. Cool beans. And then
Survey data.
um the next thing, now I'm hearing about what are we meeting during lunch all the time? But let's one other little thing before we do wrap up, and I'm going to share my screen, is Samantha, Andrew, and I recently took a visit to Coos Bay to meet with one of the tribes there and with the Early Learning Hub there. Thank you, Vanessa, for setting that up. And so we just wanted to pitch that uh, we're happy to come around to your part of the state or whatever to talk about the one system. And so just, I don't know if we're going to be traveling to Eastern Oregon during the winter, but just something to have in mind for the future. And if you have ideas of people who could learn more about the one system, encourage their clients to use the one system, because we haven't really done a major press publicly to encourage people to open one accounts and show the one mobile app off very much. So it's probably not something we're going to act on immediately, but it'd be nice to have some organizations or connections that might benefit from a presentation. That's all. And I don't know, Veronica is one of these people out of state, so she's probably not going to be traveling with us all that much. But Andrew, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, not really. Cool opportunity to connect with different communities and share the work that we're doing.
Well,
I will add, guys, that if you were to do this, you will get an idea of your guys' department as to how they're handling consumers in the state offices too.
yeah, we always love visiting the local offices. We did that also in Coos Bay. Saw the lobby, could talk about the signage they have and also how they handle when people are visiting and such. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to connect with the local offices as well. That's a good point.
I won't tell you. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add, I didn't mean to cut you off, George. I was just gonna say it also when we do present to these different groups and stuff, I feel like we always come across things that need to be updated or changed. So it's a good opportunity for us to look back into the system, see everything we've worked on together as a group, but also kind of get an idea of like, being in the actual application flow, seeing how things work or don't work or could work better. So just good all around. But yeah, sorry, George, didn't mean to cut you off.
I would like to suggest if you're coming down here to Southern Oregon, Grants Pass and Medford. Grants Pass has a bigger office than Medford. We've got a lot of Medford state offices, like 3 of them down here. And Grants Pass has got everything combined in the one office, big building. So keep in mind, if you're coming down here, not everybody in Medford can travel to Grants Pass. So you may have to divide, going to Grants Pass one time and then coming to Medford another time. We're so spread out down here.
Grants Pass have that nifty new office, new ODHS office.
Yes. And it's huge. I've been there.
Yeah. Okay. We are a little past time. Okay. Talked about missing next month. So Andrew, I'm going to ask you to talk about that, or maybe Veronica, that second bullet point. I want to also make one other plug, which is obnoxious to say in only 20 seconds, but the state, we are entering a budget crunch due to lower tax receipts, due to the federal changes in taxes, and also because funding is being cut by the federal government. And so I do have a survey that can go out to talk about values for your organizations and for yourselves, as that will, in theory, help guide some of the discussions around these budget cuts. Obviously, final decisions are way above our pay grade and actually will be made at the legislative level. But nonetheless, I'll probably just send it out to this list, uh, this survey, and we'd love to get your input in the next few days about, what should the agency be looking at in terms of when we submit our list to the governor of what's potentially on the cut list. We've been asked to create a list of 5% of our budget, which is a lot. So I just threw that little bit of bad news in there, but Andrew, you want to talk about the remote identity proofing work that's coming up?
Yeah, so this is another CR that we're working on, change request. And the last change request that Veronica and I were working on was the self-schedule one, and we had Maria and NJ from this group join us for our joint, what we call JADS, Joint Application Design sessions, a series of meetings where we work together with all of the different impacted state areas and our Deloitte partners to come up with the design for this change. So remote identity proofing, that's the process that somebody goes through when they're creating an account to verify their identity. And right now it's done through Experian with data from tax returns and credit checks, credit reports, and things like that, where it would show pick which of these 4 cars have been registered to you before, pick which addresses you've lived at before. We're completely changing that process, moving more towards something where you submit like a ID and you take a selfie or of yourself, and it compares that to the 2 images to determine if you are who you say you are. So that's a whole new software being implemented. This thing called SoCure is the program we're going with. And we are looking if anyone is interested in joining those design sessions. So right now we don't have any of them scheduled, but they're likely going to take place during parts of November or December, and could kind of butt up against holidays. Again, we don't really know exactly when they are, but if anyone's available, if anyone feels like getting a look into some of the behind the scenes sort of stuff that we do in terms of designing and developing these changes, would be a cool opportunity. So yeah,
I would
that's
like to join, but I also have a question. Is it going to be for sure driver's license? Because I used to work with a lot of DV clients, and that was one thing that their abuser would take their driver's license and any type of identification. And I remember I took a few clients over and they were saying like, oh my God, it's the first time I've held an ID in like 8 years or 9 years. So that could be a potential barrier for folks in those types of situations.
totally, yeah. So I think the main form of verification is going to be through photo ID, not just driver's license, but any sort of photo ID. That doesn't really solve the situation you're talking about. I don't personally have an answer right now about what the alternatives are, but I don't think the intent is to say if you don't have a photo ID, you cannot log into the system to verify who you are. I assume there will be some sort of alternate path to do that. But Vanessa, we would love to have you and anyone with that kind of feedback, because I think that's the type of experience we're looking for, people who have real world experience with users who are going to be using something like this, so that we make sure we close all those gaps and say, if someone's in this situation, if someone doesn't have access to their ID, what's the process for them? How do we make that user friendly?
Andrew, I want to add to this program that you guys are thinking about. Me personally, I would be very careful because of 2 reasons. One, if you guys were hiring a state person and you checked out their background and they were to look at the ID once the application is processed, they may or may not be an abuser and find someone that they've already abused in the past. That could be likely happen to anybody. And the second is these nut skimmers. people that can get into computers, hackers, can also find out the addresses on these IDs and cause problem to people.
Definitely. Yeah. So George, one thing just to note is the software procurement process has been taking place, for over a year at this point. We reviewed a number of different software options of what to use, and then our kind of steering committee there decided what seemed to work the best for our needs. And then for the last 12 months, our different state security teams have been reviewing and vetting that, and as part of the procurement process to make sure that concerns like yours are going to be handled appropriately. So we're making sure to do all the extra work that what we're doing is safe for people to use.
I mean, because there's been instances where one person can get their background check can come out so clean until like an abuser recognizes, somebody that they abused, and creates a problem.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's something that we're always concerned about. It's part of why we don't allow any sort of information about TADVS to be accessed through the online portal. But yeah, just to say again, I think that people who make a lot more money than I do and whose job is to make sure that the systems we implement are safe for Oregonians have been working for the last year to make sure that this is safe.
Okay, we are way over time. So
Okay, so what we'll do is we've got the charter review. We'll put that hopefully in the next meeting in December. Yeah, I hope you got that charter review on December's meeting.
and yep, we'll have it in there. And yeah, otherwise, I think we're set.
Okay, I will see you all. Adjourn the meeting, and James, I would like to talk to you offline, or at least without the recording.